Round 3 of the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup is here at Zolder in Belgium. It's a proper old school circuit and it always delivers action. Last time out we were at Brands Hatch. The main race was dominated by Lamborghinis away from the grid as they charged their way down towards Paddock Hill Bend, with Felix Morales in the red Mercedes trying to gain ground on the outside line as well. It was Lamborghini versus BMW on the run up the hill, and at Druids Hairpin it was a very crowded circuit with the Lamborghini from Attempto Racing tapped into a spin, and that was facing the wrong way. The guilty party being Kevin Chekon. As the battles continued up front, there was another spinner, the ISR Philip Salaquada Audi into the gravel, and that would bring out the safety car. On the restart, Morales was on his toes, diving up the inside and gaining a place down at Graham Hill Bend. The two Rover Racing BMWs looking to try to gain ground back again, but Morales was on a mission. So too was Raffaele Marciello in his Mercedes, getting into the back of the McLaren at Druids, prizing open the door and going through. Hustling on as well was the 98 BMW, as there was more leaning going on over at Stirling's, and dust kicked up before the pit window opened. But then disaster for the number 19 Lamborghini. A broken drive shaft meant that was going no further, and contact in the pit lane between Danny Juncadella and Philip Eng led to both cars making contact, and Eng out with a broken drive shaft as he accelerated out of the pit lane. And that was a talking point long into the evening. For number 63 though, there was no drama in the pits. Mirko Bortolotti took over and was on target for a race win as Raffaele Marciello battled on in his Mercedes. Bortolotti, having ticked off a victory at Monza in the endurance race, was on target for a sprint victory as well, and backing up the qualifying race win, a main race victory for Mirko Bortolotti as he came across the timing line with Christian Engelhardt to score victory at Brands Hatch. Reigning Sprint Cup champion Enzo Ede is looking for a good result this weekend on home soil, and the Belgian driver for the Belgian Audi WRT squad has had a frustrating start to the season.
Very difficult. We have been quite well performing this year, but we had a lot of bad luck the first two weekends. In Brands Hatch we got hit in the first corner and had to retire the first race. So I mean, it's sprint racing, everything can happen, and it proves that you need to have luck also. You can be the best in the paddock, but if you have no luck, it's the way it is. So it's nice to be here with the Belgian team in a Belgian track with an Audi.
Another of the local drivers eager for a good result this weekend is Dries van Tor. Again, he's WRT Audi mounted. He's got Marcel Fassler with him as the co-driver, and he should be on for a good result because the Audi's looking much quicker across qualifying. And also, he's very local. He lives just down the road, and all his family and friends are here to cheer him on.
I live 20 meters from the track, so I mean, it's really cool and nice to sleep at my own bed and to eat at home and everything. And of course, I have a lot of friends and family are coming to the track. So yeah, it's giving me a little boost to maybe do that bit more what's needed.
The third of the three Belgian drivers on the grid is Maxime Soulet in the Bentley. He's got work to do in the qualifying race in an ultra-competitive championship.
No, I mean, it's been shown that the level of this championship is it's the top GT level in the world, and every year it's getting stronger and stronger with better cars, better drivers every year, and it's quite an honor to be part of it, especially with the Bentley Continental and Team M Sport. So yeah, quite happy with it.
It's always good to have a Ferrari on a Blancpain GT Series grid, and this car is driven by Piti Veronbachti and Carlo Van Dam. Even though Van Dam is Dutch, he's done the bulk of his recent racing in Asia, said he is especially pleased to be back on European soil.
Piti and myself this year came to Europe with an open mind. Obviously first to see how the competition is like, and from the first event we saw that we can be very competitive. Well, the last time I've been to Zolder was 11 years ago with a Formula Renault. So obviously the car got a lot bigger and more powerful, but the track is still as narrow. So it is quite challenging, but obviously, you know, it's very close to the Dutch border. So it's very good for me to race a Ferrari in front of a lot of Dutch fans and family and friends coming over this weekend. So it's awesome.
Good news this weekend for McLaren. The car's looking a lot more competitive than we've seen hitherto. And one to watch, despite a trip into the gravel in qualifying, is that of Lewis Williamson.
For me, getting the opportunity to race in such a great championship with all these great drivers, it's great. You know, I was talking about it yesterday. This will be my first full season from start, hopefully to finish, since 2011. So, you know, I've been out of it for a few years, but Straka and McLaren, they've given me an opportunity to come back and really knuckle down and hopefully put on a good show for all the guys in the team, and repay them. We've had a tough start to the season with incidents that have been out of our control, but the team have worked 24/7 to make sure all 4 cars are on the track.
The car to beat potentially is the Lamborghini Huracan, run by the Grata racing team. Mirko Bortolotti, Christian Engelhardt dominated at Brands Hatch.
So far it's been a really, really good season. We had a great start, especially in the Endurance Cup, but also in the Sprint Cup. And we're still in the early part of the season, so we push race by race. And especially looking at Zolder here, it's very important to have a good qualifying.
What about the Mercedes effort this weekend? The HTP Motorsport run cars should be competitive, especially number 84, which will have at the wheel Frank Pereira.
Yeah, it's an important weekend. We are in the third round of the sprint, but I think everything is going positive for us. I think we have to do another good result this weekend, because in Brands Hatch with the puncher we lost some points. But we finished P6 in the second round, starting from last, so this was good. But I think we worked really good today. We are improving a lot because the BOP is quite difficult for us, especially on this small track. But I'm very focused. I think we can do something this weekend.
The BMW M6s have had a frustrating start to the season, but should be good around here. At the wheel of 98 is Finn Jesse Krohn.
I think in general, the hotter it gets, the more we struggle somehow. I don't know if it's the turbo engine or we just struggle with the tire deck. Our goals for the weekend, obviously, we need to score as many points as we can to stay as close to the championship lead as possible. We don't know how well the track suits us yet, but I think whatever problems we may have, we should be able to work around them.
There's further Ferrari representation in the AM Cup. The American driver Steve Earle joins the grid this weekend. He's never raced here before. The appeal is it's a proper old school track.
I think right now it's the highest level of GT racing in the world. You look top to bottom, how many pro factory teams we have, and just like we just said, 27 cars in the same second. I mean, that's pretty good.
So welcome to Zolder and welcome to the first of 2 races this weekend. This is the qualifying race where points are awarded if you're in the top 6, and the result decides the grid for tomorrow's main race. And what a race this promises to be. 33 cars set to do battle around what we say is a proper old school circuit. The drivers have just been talking about it being narrow. Overtaking is not going to be that easy, but either way we are in for a great spectacle. The cars are going to be released from the pit lane shortly. They will come round onto the grid. The 2x2 rolling start, of course, to get the race underway. The grid then starts to fill as this mouth-watering field lines up ready for 60 minutes of racing. Pole position is on the outside as you look at it, but of course that's the inside for the left-hander down towards turn 1, as through all the engineers, the co-drivers, the grid girls, the VIPs, the media, come the cars. We'll have a full walk up the grid once it's clear at the 2-minute board, and introduce you to who is driving what, with, of course, the driver that starts today being the driver that finishes tomorrow's race. And the second driver in the car today will start in tomorrow's main race. And that means that Rob Bell today will do the second stint. He's on the front of the grid, ready to talk to Watty.
Rob Bell, front row of the grid for the Stracker McLaren. But Friday was not such a good day. Explain the scenario.
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky. We missed free practice 2. Basically, we had a problem with the steering, which meant that when I went through the last corner and turned left, I wanted to turn right again to come out of the corner, but unfortunately the car wouldn't turn right, so I basically drove straight into the wall, which looked a bit comedy actually, but turns out it was a screw which had come out of Andrew's helmet at Brands Hatch, and it's been in there ever since, and then finally managed to work its way into the steering rack. So actually it was unlucky, but if it was turn 4 we wouldn't be standing here, we'd be in a lot more of a problem. So we've turned it around and we've done a good job.
Excellent, see you later.
So Rob Bell, who will take over the number 59 McLaren. It's the car that starts second on the grid. He is, remember, the reigning endurance champion, along with Shane van Gisbergen and Kerm Ledegaard, having also this year been third in the Bathurst 12 Hours. He has won the GT category in the Asian Le Mans Series, started off in single-seater racing in Formula Vauxhall Junior a long time ago, and then Formula Renault, and raced at Le Mans, class winner in the Paynos Esperantic. and then move through Ferrari ranks, and he is a very much in demand GT racer these days, is Rob Bell. Let's hear next though from Christian Engelhardt. He's with John.
Christian Engelhardt, I'm not accustomed to seeing the 63 Lamborghini back in the third row of the grid. What went wrong?
Nothing really. We had a really good qualifying session. It's just really tight, really competitive. I think we're 2 or 3 tenths down from pole position, but it's a good starting point for the race. It's 2 long races, so let's see what we can do from here.
But Christian, at Brands Hatch, your car was half a second quicker than the entire field.
I think that was just a really, really good lap from Mirko. Nobody expected that time, and in quali that was an amazing lap. Here it's a little bit tougher for us.
Well, I'm sure you'll make the best of it. Many thanks. See you later.
Just to illustrate how competitive it is this weekend, at the end of Q2 we had the top 27 out of 32 cars at that point, all covered by under a second. Well, this is the car that has been very much the gun car of late, the Lamborghini Huracan, winning in both endurance and sprint events. The Lamborghini with this V10 engine, it belts out 560 horsepower. You've got 2 examples run by Gottfried Grasser's team. Christian Engelhardt, who is best known for his exploits in Porsches, sharing with former Formula 2 champion Mirko Bortolotti, whereas the Quick Am, Ezequiel Perez Compact, shares the sister car with Norbert Siedler. Mirko Bortolotti, who has raced and won in the Megane Trophy Euro Cup after he struggled to carry on in single-seaters, having won the Formula 2 championship. He also raced in the slightly quirky Acceleration FA1 championship. It's going to be interesting as well to see how Stuart Leonard goes in that second stint in the pole-sitting car. Andrew Watson in the Stracker McLaren then on the inside. So it's Robin Frins in the yellow and silver Audi, Andrew Watson alongside in the McLaren. They work their way now up towards the timing line. If the race director is happy with the grid formation, the lights will go green. The qualifying race underway. Lots of people in the background go for a gap, including there, look, the Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti that's in the middle. There's contact there in the wall straight away. Bortolotti is involved. It looks as though there's the McLaren 43 off the road as well. And so the race will continue. We're going to have a safety car surely as they work their way now into Kanalbach for the first time. You've heard people say how narrow it was. They were all going for a gap, but it just did not work out. And so the race leader is Robin Frins. Behind him is Andrew Watson as they work their way now up towards the Lucien Bianchi box for the first time and power their way now along that back straight down towards the chicane.
Yeah, so it's all a little bit messy before the lights went out. There were cars in about row 4 or 5 are trying to shuffle away to anticipate the lights going out. They had to back out of it, and there you can see what's happening. Just there is no room in the chicane for 2 cars or more abreast. Some are having to take the route through the back of the chicane. If there was a gain, then you have to give it up. But as long as there's no gain, you'll be waved that one through.
Now, so far, no hint of a safety car as there's more contact there. Van Splunteren gets assaulted by the Ferrari. And now they all bunch up down. They turn in towards the right-hander and through the chicane. And it's Villeneuve.
Very, very messy. 2 Ferraris, 3 Ferraris, all in that Villeneuve chicane. Somebody got it wrong coming down the hill. And now you can see what's happened. Everybody's all over the place. Tires are picked up the dirt. Yeah,
safety car. Yes. It is there now. That's what I was kind of expecting. The way that some people were slowing was making me think they've got to be yellows. And there's the reason for it. So we know about Bortolotti. It's Comme Ledegar in 43 that's being dragged out of the way, but hopefully this won't be too lengthy a safety car period. Robin Frins will lead them through at the end of the opening lap. There he is. Andrew Watson is second. Raffaele Marchiello is third. And then as there is what's left of the Lamborghini still to be retrieved, it looks as though it's Maxi Buch up into 4th place. Bad news then for Bortolotti. No points. And of course, with the result being the grid for tomorrow, that's going to put them right at the back for the main race. Let's have another look.
Now watch behind. You can see the McLaren pulls out, and then the Mercedes also, Max Buch gets into the middle. So as they come down, the Lamborghini goes from the right of the track and screen over to the left. He's moving to the left and gets tagged. So in reality, Bortolotti was trying to give himself a better line into the corner, and there was traffic there, and that's what caused him to get spun round and hit the wall.
And here it is from another angle.
I mean, this is just so close, and if something goes wrong, you can see the Audi clipped the back of the McLaren, and I think that clipped the Lamborghini. So 3 cars all involved on the run down on the right-hand side of the circuit into turn 1, the left-hand turn.
Before we go back to racing, though, let's just hear the thoughts of Mirko Bortolotti. Our reporter Dakota Jane has found him down in the pit lane.
Mirko, now we're going to watch the replay. Can you talk me through what happened in the start there?
I don't need to watch it.
I don't really need to watch it. This is like a big disappointment. This is something that I don't accept. I had a perfect start. I went alongside the Mercedes. I was on the straight. I didn't move at all, and then I had a big hit from the right, and that sent me straight into the wall. So I don't know what to say right now, to be honest. I don't feel I did anything wrong. I just went for my gap. I was on the straight with a straight steering wheel going to the corner. I got a big hit, and that sent me into the wall. I hope that the race director sees this and takes a decision on that, but it doesn't change our situation. So it can only help for the future. Big disappointment, and this is not the way I like to race, to be honest.
Cheers, thank you.
We go racing then with Robin Frins over the timing line. Andrew Watson right on his tail. Audi versus McLaren as they dive down towards turn one. Frins goes defensive. It's a slippery road as well for them to cope with this time, but the Audi fends off the McLaren. Then the two Mercedes, third and fourth. Marciello and Maxi Book fourth. Raffaele Marciello hangs on to third place as they work their way now on towards Canal Box for the first proper time, if you like. Hopefully this is going to be a full racing lap. It will be the first full racing lap, and the leader is Frins with Andrew Watson under attack. Raffaele Marciello is right on his tail, and he's taking Maxi Book with him as well. The leader getting away, second, third and fourth as one.
Maxi Book is the one on the move. He's trying to get alongside the sister car, but no chance into the chicane this time. Goes up the inside, now goes back to the outside. You can't really pass on the outside. You can do it on the inside. You have to be fairly and squarely along, and there was no way that Marciello was going to let that 84 Mercedes take away third place as this race gets back underway.
You've heard Mirko Bortolotti's thoughts about the start. The start incident is under investigation, so the story may rumble on post-race. But for now, Robin Frins leads, and Andrew Watson has brought the gap back down. He might have lost out at the exit of Canal Box, but he's got back onto the tail of the Dutch driver now. So it is Audi, McLaren, then Mercedes, Audi. Philip Salaquada running fifth, Will Stevens sixth, as the field works its way then now down towards the Rindt curve, that little flick, and the Jackie X box is the end of the lap.
There's much of the action coming down on the right-hand side of your screen. The Ferrari diving down the inside, getting past one of the attempt to, but again the undercut from the Lamborghini. Can he make it stick? The Ferrari runs very wide, but it's got track position and following in back. Well, the two Ferraris, I mean, these are two of the three cars we saw in that initial opening lap battle up over the down into the Villeneuve chicane. Now we're looking at the 19 Lamborghini trying to get up alongside the Mercedes. Goes a long way around. If it can hold it, it will get into the Villeneuve chicane, and that's a squeeze, and the Ferrari's trying to slip through as well. So Karlovic and the Lamborghini get one more position on the 89 Mercedes.
And there are the Bentleys together. Stephen Kane ahead of Maxime Soulet, looking to try to gain ground behind both of them. You've got Jesse Krohn, so there's a great battle going on here, but it's a long way down the order. And at the moment, the man under huge pressure there, look, is Belloc. He's lost a couple of places. He's going to lose 3, 4, 5 more if he's not careful, because he's got some real good drivers stacked up behind him. Peter Schotthorst has done another fastest lap of the race, but now he's counting not only the seconds from the cars ahead, but also the opportunities diminishing to the cars ahead, because once he gets in the traffic, it's going to be hard to work a way through and make more places up because of the narrowness of the road going against him. A drive-through penalty for Andrew Watson for being out of position at the start, and a drive-through penalty for Frank Stippler for being out of position at the start. So Stippler came a cropper in the first accident anyway, but Andrew Watson, number 59, is being given a drive-through penalty for being out of position at the start. We're back on board with Soulet. This time, he's got the inside line. Bentley versus Mercedes. Are they level? Not quite. Again, Jean-Philippe Belloc stays ahead, but he's under huge pressure from Maxime Soulet, who is throwing everything at this. Now, we know how good Soulet is. Fair play to Belloc for keeping him at bay. Now, through Canal Box they come. This is Soulet's chance up towards the next right at Lucien Bianchi corner. Up towards the timing line now. Look, comes number 1, which is Christopher Mies on the back of Jules Gounon. He's now up alongside as they come through. So another place about to be gained. Mies on the outside line. No, can't quite do it there, but wide goes Gounon. Does this give Mies a chance to challenge? Mercedes to the inside line. Audi on the outside as they work their way now into Sterrenwacht. And right up behind the pair of them is Dries Van Thorp. Back on board with Maxime Soulet, and he's still 19th. And there's the challenge coming. Round the outside goes Mies. He's going to go through, is he? Yes, through into 12th place. Great, brave effort that up the inside, and it's worked.
Yes, and he did it all through the first chicane. He used his track position. He got the run off the chicane, and now one of the Mercedes is stuttering and staggering. Belloc,
yeah.
Has he got a problem, or has he just sort of been out-fumbled as both Bentleys try and do? Maybe there's something wrong with the 89 Mercedes. Suddenly it lost all momentum coming into the Villeneuve chicane.
So lots of pit stops come in, also there 27. Nicola Di Marco in, Jules Kowiak in, as we have seen. Philip Eng is in at 42. Lewis Williamson. Will Stevens has pitted early. And there, 58, also Alvaro Parent down the pit road. Right, Bentley 7 stops. Out will get Stephen Kane, Vincent Abril to take over. 58 blasts away. So
Ben Barnicoat will be behind the wheel.
Straka cycling 2 cars through there. Ben Barnicoat, another impressive driver, single-seater racer, aren't they all? Now coming into GT racing, Stephen Kane's work is done, he runs away. And away blast Vincent Abril. We've got Jules Kowiak's car in a moment, set to go now with Fabian Schiller at the wheel of it. There it is. Both the top 2 are in the pit lane. There they are, nose to tail coming into the pit lane. It was 2 seconds a lap ago, and now down the pit road they come as one.
Well, if you're going to roll the dice and toss the coin and whatever, you'd have to say pit stops historically have favoured WRT, to take nothing away from ACA ASP. So this is going to be the pit stop that will define the outcome of who will stand on the winner's podium. But don't forget the HTP, the 84 car, it came in 1 lap earlier. It's back out on track, depending on where it filters in. But it's Clemens Schmidt right now who's made his pit stop, who's in the 75 Audi, who's just set fastest first sector, personal best in the second sector. The Audi is rolling, so there's the 90 Mercedes. It's Office Jacks. There is the 84, so where will that filter in? As the 90 goes down the pit lane, it's a slow pit lane exit. There's the car that led the 17 Audi, Stephen Leonard behind the wheel.
So this now could put Franck Pereira into the mix, couldn't it? Because who is going to lead? It's going to be Stuart Leonard up front. Second is Michael Meadows. Third now over the timing line. There you can see 84 Franck Pereira. Now what do we see here?
It's in 11th place.
This is the BMW. Being caught out by the slower Mercedes ahead and having to come into the pit lane.
Well, was he originally intending to come into the pit lane? He pretty much had to, because the pit stop window is about to close, but nearly tagging the rear of the Mercedes. Of course, you don't have to brake to enter the pit lane, whereas you have to brake heavily to take the final 2 corners before you get on the pit straight.
Right there, 88 Jean Cadea is in to give way to the Puerto Rican Felix Morales. Here's the 2nd and 3rd and 4th battle. Mercedes, Audi. Stuart Leonard's going to pick up the race lead then as they come over the timing line. Away now goes the Mercedes of Sorales. The leading 4 go through, and 5th is going to be Clemens Schmidt there, looking the white ISR Audi, taking over from Philippe Salaquada. So at the moment, Leonard has got an advantage of 2.6 seconds over Michael Meadows, who for the moment is so busy defending he can't really go after the leader. Now what do we have here at the first chicane? Piti Beiran-Bakhti running alongside Vincent Abril, and Piti Beiran-Bakhti comes off worst.
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, the Bentley was fair and square alongside the Ferrari, and there was no point in trying to make an issue of it. You just get out of it and accept that the Bentley has got track position. Oh, and there's the BMW right in the middle of the exit of the chicane. You can see he's gone in sideways and bounced all the way. Wow. Now that was heavy contact. And you can almost see the Lamborghini puts his nose to the rear of the BMW. We need to have a review of that. I don't want to make any criticism of the orange one, Team Lazarus, but was that Nicola Di Marco, or was that?
It's Gustavo Jacquemin at the wheel of that car.
Gustavo Jacquemin. Well, Gustavo, wonder what you might want to say to that, to the stewards.
Marcus Paltela has got off the road there with damage on the front. He's picked up some of the track furniture, bit of a Pirelli hoarding, you can see, wrapped around the front of 86. 2 Mercedes, 2nd and 3rd, nose to tail. And the incident that we saw between Jacquemin and Paltela is under investigation. Marcus Paltela, the Finn, but an honorary Belgian, he lives in this country. There are the Mercedes, look, closing. 210's taken out in sector 1, 210's taken out in sector 2 as 42 McLaren gets the squeeze. That rather uncompromisingly, David Fuminelli being involved with Vincent Abril as there. Alexander Matchon has a go up the inside of Piti Beiran-Bakhti for the lead of Pro-Am. They are together, the 2 Ferraris absolutely dead set level. Beiran-Bakhti on the inside line fights back, but round the outside goes Alexander Matchon, and as they come through Canal Box, he's got the job done. He leads the class with a great move.
Yeah, good clean move. Both Ferraris wanted to have that piece of turf going into turn 2, but it was Matchon who really had the advantage onto turn 1.
And Gustavo Jacquemin then runs along the back straight towards the chicane, and he's going to have to come in soon and serve the stop go. You can see it was his car that lost the bodywork. He launches himself over the curbs as well, coming out of the chicane, but over the brow of the hill on what's going to be effectively an in-lap. Right, up front, the gap has gone out again. Stuart Leonard with the traffic was 1.2 seconds. There's the first incident as Paltela brushes up against the Lamborghini, and take that.
I mean, how blatant do you have it to be? I mean, what's the point? What is the point of doing that?
A drive-through penalty for Franck Pereira in third place for a pit lane infringement, so that, when he serves it, will not only release Michael Meadows, it will also give Marcus Winkelhock a chance to get up on the back of the red Mercedes, because he won't have to worry about getting past Pereira. But HTP is a top team. Franck Pereira is one of the top drivers, and yet a little mistake is going to ruin their race. Does he come in? Yes, he does. So up to third goes Winkelhock, up to fourth goes Clement Schmidt, and Franck Pereira will head down the pit lane. It is only a drive-through, so he doesn't have to stop. But remember how long this pit lane is, and at 50 kilometres an hour, it is agonisingly slow. So this is the incident. The car's on the jacks. Waiting to hear the engine.
Well, difficult for us to hear it.
Yeah.
But apparently the observers noted that the car did start before the jacks were down, and therefore the penalty has had to be served.
They will squeeze just one more lap out of it at the end of this. Stuart Leonard soaking up the pressure. These must be the longest laps of his life, because he's got them all stacked up behind. He's so close to a race win. But actually now Winkelhock is about to do him the biggest favour. Another of the WRT Audis helps the leader, because by attacking Meadows, suddenly Michael has got to defend. He will take the slower lines, and look, the gap has opened up straight away. Stuart Leonard blasts his way now down towards the X-Box. The checkered flag is at the ready. Michael Meadows is not close enough, and so it's going to be a win in the qualifying race for Robin Frins. And Stuart Leonard, the British driver, brings the car across the line and scores victory right now at Zolder as the flag is waved. He comes across the timing line 7/10 ahead of Michael Meadows. Third is Marcus Winkelhock, and fourth goes to Clement Schmidt ahead of Felix Terrades and Enzo Ede. It's a great drive by Robin Frins to lead the opening stint, and Stuart Leonard, mega job as well to withstand the pressure, wins the race in the second stint of nose to tail, and now side by side up towards the line. Bentley 7, Vincent Abril just ahead of Marcel Fassler, 12th and 13th, 14th behind them Antonio Felix da Costa, and then Andy Soucek with Franck Pereira 16th. And in Pro-Am it is going to be a win for 39. Pity Pierron Bachti, because Alexander Matschel, unseen, has had a drama and lost his class lead and fallen back behind the Asian team. But let's hear from Stuart Leonard and Robin Frins. John Watson has caught up with them.
Congratulations, Robin. You had the benefit of being in pole position. You pulled away, had a pretty uneventful drive.
Yeah, at the beginning I was pulling away quite easily from the McLaren. Then the pace was similar. Then he had a drive through. I don't know why or what happened really, but at the end Marcello was behind with the Mercedes, and he was like 1.5, 2 tenths quicker than me, and I was quite pushing. I lost a bit of time when I entered the pits, because the Ferrari was in front of me, and you know the pit lane over there you can lose quite a bit of time. But at the end, Stu jumped in and he didn't do any mistakes, and as long as you don't mistakes in Zolder, no one will overtake you, so he did a really good job.
Well, you did a great job, Stuart. Fantastic. I mean, I don't know whether this rates in your list of great achievements in motorsport. Must be pretty high.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely one of the top for sure. No, I mean, I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. Thank you to Robin for the amazing job. Thank you to the guys from the pit stop and everything. Everyone's been really supportive and really helpful and helped push me along. So it's been really fantastic.
Well done, guys. Enjoy it.
The results after 37 laps of racing: Audi victorious with Stuart Leonard, Robin Frins ahead of the Mercedes of Michael Meadows and Raffaele Marciello. Marcus Winkelhock and Will Stevens third, from Clement Schmidt and Philip Salaquada. Felix Terrades and Danny Juncadella fifth, then Enzo Ede and Christopher Mies with Ezequiel Perez-Companc and Norbert Siedler seventh, Dominic Baumann and Jimmy Eriksson eighth, Giovanni Venturini and Marco Mappelli ninth, and then Ben Barnicoat and Alvaro Parent 10th. A race that could have been so much better for McLaren. Audi is back, it seems, after a rather modest, rather anonymous start to the season. It's good to have them looking so strong once again. The opposition may disagree, but it's nice to have different brands up there. So Misano dominated by Mercedes, Brands Hatch dominated by Lamborghini. In both instances, the same crew, same car, of course, won the qualifying and the main race. So is it going to be a case of another double for Stuart Leonard and Robin Frins? But we'll find out tomorrow afternoon. So welcome to Zolder and welcome to the main race. David Anderson and John Watson trackside as we get ready for 60 minutes of more frantic GT action. Bentley number 8 arriving at the bottom end of the pit lane. It's had an engine change. That's not allowed under the regulations, and so its penalty is to start from the pits. But actually, on the evidence of yesterday, that might be a good thing because it keeps you out of the pack. It keeps you out of any possible trouble going into the first corner. There is number 7, Bentley, which lines up a row further back now. A mixed season so far for this car of Vincent Avril and Stephen Kane. Second at Misano, 13th at Brands Hatch, and rather struggled yesterday. But you've got two quick drivers of this mighty car with its 4-litre twin-turbo V8 engine. Belts out 500 horsepower, and number 7 is going to be started by Vincent Avril. Stephen Kane will take over the sister car, starting from the pit lane. Maxime Soulet and Andy Soucek will be the drivers of car number 8. Stephen Kane, very much one of the go-to drivers in GT racing. So the car is going to be started by Vincent Avril, which means that Stephen is out of the car with John.
Stephen Kane, it's been a bit of a struggle this weekend so far for the 7 and 8 Bentley.
Yeah, we just struggled to make the tyres work really in qualifying, but our race pace is really good. So, you know, we've come up from 23rd to 12th in the first race, managed to stay out of the mayhem in the first corner, and, you know, hopefully we can do the same again in this race. And the boys set the second best pit stop time, so if we can do that, we can maybe move up into the points scoring positions.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks.
There, just to reiterate the point, number 8 Bentley is going to start from the pit lane. It's Andy Soucek who will do the opening stint, so Maxime Soulet on home soil will bring the car home. The former Endurance Cup third-placed driver in the championship, but a Belcar Endurance champion back in 2011, which means he knows this place like the back of his hand because the Zolder 24 Hours is always a key part of the domestic scene. And now this very busy grid starts to empty of all the guests and the VIPs and some of the engineers and media. Of course, at the 1 minute board, it'll just be the last engineer to fire up the engines, and then the cars are going to be released onto the warming up lap. Danny Jonkadea, another of the star drivers in this entry, drives car number 88, the former Formula 3 Euro Series champion and winner of the FIA European Formula 3 Cup, then moved into the DTM with Mercedes and has switched across to GT racing this year, and he will do the second stint in the car started by Felix Orales. And just to recap the grid, Stuart Leonard lining up alongside Michael Meadows on row 1, ahead of Marcus Winkelhock and Clement Schmidt the second row. Then come Felix Orales and Enzo Ede on row 3, ahead of Ezequiel Perez Companc and Dominic Bauman's Mercedes, rounding out the top 8 on the grid. Starting 9th is going to be Giovanni Venturini in the Lamborghini, and the top 10 rounded out by Ben Barnicoat. We already have a couple of team managers being summoned to the race director. ACA ASP's number 90 and Straka Racing 58, the Barnicoat Parent car. We'll come back to that if there is more news as we get ready for the main race in round 3 of the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup. The cars now look to stay across those white lines on the grid. The lights will go green. We are good to go racing for 60 minutes, but way ahead of the front row pole car there was Michael Meadows. Stuart Leonard lagged back and he falls third as they dive down towards turn 1. Michael Meadows grabs the advantage. Let's see what comes of that as they wriggle their way through the first corner. Michael Meadows it is who's got the lead. In second place is Clement Schmidt for ISR in the white Audi. Marcus Winkelhock is third. You could argue Michael Meadows was out of position, but he was on his toes, and Stuart Leonard was not.
No, and Stuart Leonard did the right thing. He said absolutely where he had to be, right square in his box, but the Mercedes was half the car was outside the box. Now maybe that'll be given a wave through, but I can assure you Andrew Watson was very unhappy with the penalty he received in the 59 McLaren yesterday, and he will no doubt, I'm sure, and his team will also bring to the attention that the Mercedes 90 was not in its correct grid position when the lights went green.
Looking back from the 98 BMW then, it's all going on behind as they come over the brow, down towards the Villeneuve chicane, through which the leaders swoop for the first time. Mercedes leads the way. Michael Meadows at the wheel of it. So far, so good. Meadows leading, Schmidt second, Winkelhock third. It's Mercedes, Audi fourth, Stuart Leonard, Mercedes fifth, Felix Orales, and then in sixth, it is the first of the Lamborghinis as they work their way through. Giovanni Venturini at the wheel, as there you see a dive up the inside. Number 3 gaining track position. Jake Dennis going ahead of Piti Bieron-Blachty.
Yes, good pass down the inside into turn 1. One of the places on the racetrack where it is clear, but 43 McLaren already into the pit lane.
Gustavo Jackerman off the road in the orange Lamborghini. So Michael Meadows leads, but That is one of the cars for which the team manager is having to go to see the race director. The start procedure of numbers 58 and 90 under investigation. Well, that came up even before they got to the start of the race. I wonder whether that is for too many people or the car being up on the jacks at the 3-minute mark, because you've got to factor that into the build-up regulations as well. More news on those cars to come. Change there round the outside. Dominic Baumann goes ahead of Enzo Ede, so the Mercedes goes ahead of the Audi. Enzo Ede tries to go defensive to keep at bay Franck Pereira. Now Michael Meadows could be on for a double whammy here, and as much as the start procedure of the Mercedes being investigated, that was on the grid, and also the start speed of number 90 is under investigation as well. And there's contact, and round goes number 99, Antonio Felix da Costa gets tapped into a spin at the Jackie X-Box. Round he goes. Now he's going to have to wait for a gap in the traffic. Is he going to be able to get going? I think he will, but only at the very back of the field as the leaders then dive down towards the first left-hander. And there, still waiting to get back into the race, is da Costa. He spin turns it now. Everything's gone. There is in replay Ben Barnicoat going all over the curb at the Villeneuve chicane. That has done some suspension damage by the look of it, or a punctured tyre.
Left front.
Yeah, it doesn't want to turn, does it?
Marcus Winkelhock quicker, you can see he's closing on the tail of the 75 Audi, gets alongside, virtually alongside, but the advantage is to the 75 because it's the long way round Marcus Winkelhock's got to find, and the Audi 75 has got the real estate that Marcus Winkelhock was looking to take.
And Marcus Winkelhock has the speed, so he tries again down at Starenbach, this long right-hander into Kanalbach. They come absolutely nose to tail, and there is a drive-through penalty for Michael Meadows, the leader, for a jump start. The leader has a drive-through penalty for a jump start. So I was about to say this is helping Michael Meadows get away, but a drive-through beckons for the British driver. So this effectively, John, becomes the lead battle. There, number 63, Christian Engelhardt, up into 22nd place then, having started on the back row of the grid. So he's made some progress, but has now got a bit stuck behind the quick Brit Phil Quaife, who has a go to the inside of Piti Bieron-Bahti, the Pro-Am runner-up at the moment. The door is open. Can Quaife get up alongside? Yes. Outside for the first part. He's on the curve for the second part of the Rindt curve. Through he goes. Through goes Engelhardt as well, because Michael Meadows serves the drive-through. He's going to get another one as well, because along with McLaren 58, there's a drive-through penalty for an infringement of the start procedure as well, being on the jacks at the 3-minute board, as I was suggesting earlier. As there, number 19, which is Ezequiel Perez Compact, loses out to Jake Dennis, who goes through. There's a lean between Ede and Perez Compact. Off the road goes the Audi. He's back on, but he's left the door open. Up the inside goes Rob Bell. Through he goes. Wide again goes Enzo Ede, coming out of turn 1. He's lost the place at the BM, no question about it this time around. So nose to tail on the way in. Is it going to be the same order on the way out? Now it is the mechanics that could influence the race order and the leader of the race.
Yes, it's ISR for the lead car, WRT, and in fact the third place car, Stuart Leonard, also in. So in effect the two WRT cars, they have separate pit boxes, but it might get a little bit congested around the WRT pits as these two second and third place cars come to. Will Stevens looks out to see, where's my car? Marcus Winkelhock peels in now, and the Clement Schmidt one, ISR Audi a little bit further down the pit lane. It's into its box. So it's a battle now between the two teams. Who's going to be the winner?
Felix Morales leads on the road, but who is going to be out first between the green and silver Audi there or the white car here? So 75, Philip Salaquada on board. At number 2, Will Stevens on board. Tyres are changed, car drops down, away goes the WRT Audi into the lead of the race, because there the ISR team has a much slower pit stop. They're only now done. Forget the hose, go back. Time lost, time lost, time lost.
Yes, Will Stevens has taken the lead in the pit stop. Great stop Absolutely. By the WRT team.
He's taken the lead, but look at the gap he's got as well. So that was a great job done by the WRT engineers. There's Robin Frintz on his way out as well.
Absolutely, Robin Frintz has closed the gap to what was the lead Audi, probably by over half. And the Bentley likewise, number 7, Stephen Kane behind the wheel. He's also hoping to make up ground. They had a very good pit stop.
As they're getting ready to go, is Dries Van Thorp blast away. Look at the rubbery lays.
This is the Bentley side by side, and that's the 7 Bentley. Stephen Kane behind the wheel. Max Book. Well, that's a little battle that's going to be worth watching.
Now the BMW here is under attack, isn't it? Because Jesse Krohn, as you look back from the car, has got Christopher Mees crawling all over him. He tries the outside line coming down towards the X-Box, and there's contact there as he tries to go from the outside to the inside. If the door won't open, he's going to try and prise it open, but still they run nose to tail, and the Audi glued to the back of the BMW. over the timing line they come. To the outside goes Meese, and right there behind them is Christopher Hasse, who's trying to buy into this.
Yeah, of course, the reason was the BMW took the inside line going into turn 1. Contact between two Mercedes, and that's at the final.
Well, that is Jimmy Eriksson and Danny Juncadella. That was the battle for 5th place, and Eriksson gets going again, but there may well be a penalty coming for the other Acura ASP car out of all of this, because it was Juncadella behind. He has also lost places, and what that has done is put Stephen Kane up into 5th place in the Bentley. There is a clearly damaged Mercedes, and Jimmy Eriksson is going to stop.
Safety car?
I would imagine so, unless it can be a full course yellow, because he's right there at a little access gate into the pit lane, but ISR reckon that's going to be a safety car.
Let's look again and see what happened. Juncadella goes one way, then the other way, and then he just makes a misjudgment because the 86 is on the brakes and Juncadella misjudged it, so he will be the penalty. He will get that penalty for an avoidable incident.
So straight away we go full course yellow. So everybody slows down. That doesn't close up the gaps. Now what might happen is you go full course yellow first, everybody slows down, and then you can deploy the safety car to scoot them all into a line. So it'll be safety car in at the end of this lap, so we know it's going to be the last lap. The safety car will peel off. Will Stevens leads the way, but Daniel Kalvitz there in the Ferrari hopefully will get out of the way. He's a quick driver, but in a Pro-Am car, he's going to have to bear in mind the pace of those around him as they come over the timing line. Does Daniel Kalvitz get out of the way? He doesn't want to lift and compromise his own run too much. They go through with Will Stevens leading, and Kalvitz stays then on the outside line. Let's through on the inside Salaquada, who goes deep into the corner. Does that now give Robin Frins a chance to challenge for second place? Yes, it does, to the inside line there. Robin Frins goes charging up on the inside of the ISR round. He can't quite do it. He's got a tighter line as he also has to defend from Dries Vanthoor up behind him. Vanthoor has now got the Ferrari behind him, and that prevents Stephen Kane from challenging. The Ferrari a lap down, being a bit of a spoiler in the pack here, as Stephen Kane is now frustrated. He can't do anything about the Audis as they run down the back straight. For as long as Salaquada is defending second, he can't attack the leader. So WRT again doing a good team job. There is Stephen Kane lapping the Ferrari, sets off in pursuit of the Audi Steamroller up front. Stephen Kane 5th as Will Stevens leads, looking for a maiden Blancpain GT Series win. Been a good weekend for the Brits at Audi. Stuart Leonard winning yesterday, Will Stevens seemingly on target for a win today. Stuart Leonard could be third thanks to Robin Frins' efforts, and Robin still pushing as the cars dance their way over the curb at the Villeneuve chicane. The leader is getting away as Salaquada has to go defensive and hang on to second place. Down they come now towards Boulderberg. Up the inside looks Robin Frins, but Philip Salaquada doing a good job in fairness. Fends him off, runs now through the ring curve. Clement Schmidt watching. He could be on for his best Blancpain result as well. In second place, they've had a 15th and a retirement in the previous two main races. But Will Stevens then is about to come through. Third at Brands Hatch and winners at Zolder. The checkered flag is ready, and Marcus Winkelhock and Will Stevens win the main race at Zolder in the Blancpain GT Series Sprint Cup. Second, Philip Salaquada and Clement Schmidt. Third, Robin Frins and Stuart Leonard. Fourth goes the way of Dries Vanthoor and Marcel Fassler. Stephen Kane 5th, and Vincent Abril, his co-driver, will celebrate 2. And 6th, Maxi Buch and Franck Pereira after another action-packed race. It went down to the wire, and WRT does the double. A win for Will Stevens and Marcus Winkelhock from Clement Schmidt and Philip Salaquada, Stuart Leonard and Robin Frins. Third ahead of Marcel Fassler and Dries Vanthoor. Vincent Abril and Stephen Kane 5th from Franck Pereira and Maxi Buch and Giovanni Venturini. And Marco Mappelli's best yet 7th ahead of Fabian Schiller, Joachim Kowiak, Jake Dennis and Peter Scottles 9th, and Norbert Siedler and Ezequiel Perez-Companc rounding out the top 10. The rest of the result you can see with the delayed Max van Splunteren down to 21st right at the very end. Big frustration for him.
Well, Stevens, congratulations. But how stressful was that last 5 minutes?
A little bit, to be honest, because I think we actually had a small issue on the last lap. So I was trying to nurse it home. I was hoping the safety car would go on for a while, but Winky did a great job at the start. I was actually in Le Mans earlier, so it took me a lap or two to get back into the spirit of it, but it was great. It's been a long time coming, and really happy to finally get the win, and that's probably the best pit stop we've had in all the time I've been here, so a great job by the team and also by Winky.
Let's have a look at the Sprint Cup points. Maxi Buch and Franck Pereira ahead now of Marcus Winkelhock and Will Stevens, Stuart Leonard and Robin Frins at third and fourth. Why are they split apart? It's because at the start of the year, Stuart Leonard drove with Jamie Green, so in the system, they come out of two different entries, and so the next pair of trophies will go to the winners. Marcus Winkelhock, Will Stevens gets his trophy as the victors. They hold them aloft and the photographs we take them. A delighted partnership. Now, the celebrations can begin. It was a tough hour of racing. A great weekend of racing here at Zolder from John Watson and David Addison. Bye-bye.